When you start writing answers, mains answers, you might be observing certain words like explain, comment, discuss, critically analyze like that. These words are called directive words. Now the question is, each directive word has a particular demand. Based on the directive word given in the question, we need to write the answer in a particular way. To help you in understanding these directive words, we are bringing you this particular video from Law Excellence. Before starting this particular discussion, let us see the framework. First, we are going to take a keyword or a directive word and we are going to see the meaning of it, and then we are going to explain that particular keyword with an example. Here let's see the first directive word, that is define. Define means we are going to give the answer in precise and simple terms. Definition should be to the point. It should not be too elaborative. Here let's take this particular example. Define the mantle plume and explain its role. This is the second part of the question. Let's leave this out. First part says define mantle plume. Here we need to write about what is this mantle plume in simple words, and the definition should be comprehensive. Comprehensive means it should express the entire meaning, but it should not be too elaborative. When we go more in an elaborative way, we will be wasting our words and time. Remember one more thing. When the question is define, we are going to write just the definition in simple words, not the entire issue like current issue related to that, the negative dimension related to that. No, it is only one-dimensional topic or one-dimensional question. They are asking you to define, just define it and leave. The next keyword is describe. Describe here means giving detailed explanation. In the earlier example, in define, we said detailed explanation is not needed. But here, when the key term or the directive word is asking us to describe the particular statement, then we need to write about it elaborately. Let's take this particular example. It was asked in 2015 UPSC examination. Describe any 4 cultural elements of diversity in India and rate their relative significance in building a national identity. So, we need to take 4 cultural elements, each of them individually, and describe about each of them. Here we need to write a detailed explanation for each of it. Let's say linguistic diversity. Linguistic diversity is one form of cultural diversity in India. So, if this is the first dimension, we are going to write in detail the explanation about linguistic diversity. And one more thing, in describe, let's say if the question is asking about the negative dimension of a particular statement and asking us to describe, then we are going to describe only about this dimension. Or if the question is asking about only the positive dimension of a particular statement, then we are going to write only about this. So it's a one-dimensional thing, one dimension only, given dimension. Here dimension means the way the statement is asked. Whatever the way they are asking, we are going to be in that same direction. We are not going to write the opposite statements regarding that particular statement. The next keyword here is discuss. When we say discuss, we need to write about the advantages, disadvantages about the given statement in the question. Here let's take this example. This was asked in 2016. Did the Government of India Act 1935 lay down a federal constitution? That's the question. And discuss. Here discuss means different viewpoints. Let's consider this example. Few people are sitting over the table and they are discussing. What does that mean? They put across different viewpoints. That's how discuss is a broad term. Here positives, negatives, all of the things would be discussed. Here discuss is on a higher plane. Generally we write the general viewpoints from all the perspectives, positive perspective, negative perspective, both. General viewpoint we are going to write in this particular discuss. Here it means we are going to write it in multiple dimensions, multi-dimensions. If in a given question, the question is only representing one dimension, let's say positive dimension or negative dimension, then also we are going to represent positive, negative. Here also negative as well as positive. So that's how we write multiple dimensions when this keyword is there in the question. The next directive word is explain. Explain here means giving detailed elaboration about the issue or on the process. Here describing it in simple words. The complex procedure we need to describe it in simple format. That's how explain as a keyword helps us. Here let's take the example. Despite implementation of various programs for eradication of poverty by the government in India, poverty is still existing. This is the statement. Here the question is asking us explain the statement by giving the reasons. We need to write the reasons for this particular trend, explaining this particular why this particular thing is existing in India. Here poverty and different programs. Poverty alleviation programs are there, but then poverty still exists. We need to write the reasons and explain about each of them. Yes, this is the reason government taken this step, but then still existing. So that's how explanation. Here we are not going to contradict the statement. We are just going to explain it. Let's say if the statement is asking us about positives, we are going to explain only on the positives. If the statement is asking us on negatives, we are going to explain only on the negatives. That's how explain is a one-dimensional concept. The next keyword is comment. Comment here means we have the freedom to either accept or reject the given proposition in the question. Here let's take this particular example. This question says, Sufis and medieval mystic saints failed to modify either the religious ideas and practices or the outward structure of the Hindu-Muslim societies to any appreciable extent. They are failed. That's the question. Here, either you can write the supporting arguments to this or you can write the opposing arguments to it. But you should have proper points to substantiate your viewpoint. Substantiate. Here, we are going to take a stand, particular stand, and then write our answer by substantiating our viewpoints. That's how comment question is different. Here, our opinion matters. In comment questions, our opinion matters. Either you can write all the positives or all the negatives. It means we are going to write about only one side of the question. We are not going to see the other side of the question in comment question. The next keyword is elaborate. Elaborate is similar to explain. In detail, we are going to give the information. But here it simply means giving more information on the issue, more detailed explanation. Explain is similar. Here we are going to give more detailed explanation. Let's take this particular question. In many ways, Lord Dalhousie was the founder of modern India. Elaborate. Here it means we are not going to contradict this. We are going to elaborate the given statement. So if the statement is positive, we are going to write all the positives. If the statement is negative, we are going to write all the negatives. That's it. We are not going to write two viewpoints on this. All viewpoints regarding one single dimension. That's it. That is elaborate. The next keyword is analyze. This is one important directive word. We are getting many questions based on this particular directive word. Here, we have to give the rational viewpoint by scrutinizing both the viewpoints. Let's say a particular proposition is given. We need to scrutinize the positives. We need to scrutinize the negatives, or positive viewpoints, negative viewpoints, and then we'll have to take a balanced view. This positives and negative. Let's take this particular question. Africa was chopped into states artificially created by the accident of European competition. We need to write yes. This has happened because of these reasons. Here we are going to write the factual information or historical data, and then we are going to support it in another way also. But however, this was also planned. This is not accidental. This is planned. Then here also we are going to write the factual points. Finally, we take a particular stand. Analyze questions, we are going to take a stand based on the factual information that we discuss in the answer. The next keyword is critically analyze. Critically analyze means here we need to analyze it and express our opinion on the analyzed viewpoints. And what does this mean? Let's say the same question, let's take the same question and the keyword is changed, critically analyze. Now we are going to write both the viewpoints, but let's say we are supporting this viewpoint more. It is not accidental. Then we are going to elaborate more on this and then we will write final conclusion based on our viewpoint. See, it is accidental, that is one proposition. It is not accidental, it is planned. Let's say these are the two dimensions in this particular question. Let's say I have more points and I believe that this is the thing. Then I will write this also, but I will give more emphasis to this particular dimension and write more elaboratively on this, and my final conclusion would be on this. That's how critically analyze changes. Critically analyze differs from analyze basis of this. In analyze, we will try to balance both. But here, we are going to take a stand, and based on our stand, we are going to write elaboratively on a particular dimension. The next keyword is examine. Examine here means, yes, we need to write the detailed explanation, but establish that stand or that explanation with the key facts on the topic. Let's take this particular question. Whether National Commission for Scheduled Castes can enforce the implementation of constitutional reservation for the scheduled caste in the religious minority institution. Should this commission also promote reservations in the religious minority institutions? That's the question that we should examine. Examine here means if you are supporting it, you should say yes, it should take the reservations into these institutions also, because this is the factual position in India. That's why you should take care like that. You need to take a stand and then explain it and then establish that stand with the factual information. That's how examine differs. Here remember one more thing. Let's say your stand is no, it should not intervene. Other stand is yes. You are not going to write both and take one stand. You are going to write only one and take a stand. That's how it is different and compared to analyze. In analyze, you are going to take both the stands and explain each of them through factual information. Here we are going to take only one stand and explain it through the factual information. The next keyword is critically examine. Critically examine here means you need not take the detailed explanation, but write both viewpoints and take a balanced conclusion. Detailed explanation about each of them is needed, but then take a balanced stand. That's how critically analyze and critically examine helps us. In critically analyze, you're going to write this stand and this stand, but more elaboratively on this and take a opinion in the conclusion. Here also, we will take our own opinion, we will write our own opinion in the conclusion, but we are going to write only about one thing. And in the end, we will write the balanced conclusion. That's how critically examine, critically analyze, both are similar. Here let's take this example. Critically examine the Supreme Court's judgment on National Judicial Appointments Commission Act with reference to the appointment of judges in judiciary, in higher judiciary in India. Here we will write, see, these are the problems because of which this act was passed by the parliament, but Supreme Court struck it down because of this reason. So finally our own opinion. So whether it is good or not, that opinion we will write. That's how critically examine we are going to answer. The next keyword is evaluate or assess. These two keywords are used in a similar context. Here, what does this mean? We need to identify the given statement and then the key issues in the given statement. We need to establish this given statement with the relevant facts that we have, debates and discussions. Let's take this question. Assess the importance of panchayat system in India as a part of local government. Apart from government grants, what are the sources? This is a different question. The first part of the question says, assess the importance. Here, let's say you are writing decentralized development. That's the first point while writing your assessment. For that, you need to write the examples. See, recently here this has happened because of empowered local governments, empowered local panchayats. That's how evaluate or assess. If you are writing one dimension or one point, you are going to establish it with the factual information or with the debates or with the recent discussions. The next term is critically evaluate. Critically evaluate here means you evaluate the statement with the facts, debates, discussions, and then finally take the conclusion based on your own opinion. See, whenever this word critically comes in, it means you need to take your own stand in the conclusion, or in the body also you can write your own stand. That's how critically evaluate differs. Let's take this particular example. If Amendment Bill to the Whistleblowers Act 2011 tabled in the Parliament is passed, there may be no one left to protect. Critically evaluate. For this statement, you take the factual information from the newspapers, different articles, and write supporting or opposing arguments. And then in the conclusion, take your own opinion and write it as a point. That's how critically evaluate differs from evaluate. The final keyword in this discussion is substantiate and illustrate. These two are similar. Substantiate means whenever you are writing any argument, we are going to provide the relevant examples, evidences, case studies, etc. to support our argument. Here let's take this. American Revolution was an economic revolt against mercantilism. Substantiate. Here you need to write the factual information. See, because of this has happened. Or write the examples. Like that. Substantiate, illustrate. In both the cases, for each argument, we are going to use examples or case studies or evidences. These you can get from your newspapers, current affairs, etc. Hope this is useful. Try answering the questions with the discussed keywords or directive words. If you have any doubts, please post it in the comment section. We will try to come up with a new video if the doubts are substantial. Thank you very much.